Hey guys, welcome to Pete's Ghias. In this multi-part series, I'll be installing a new wiring harness into my Karmann Ghia. Part 4 covers the wiper switch, wiper motor harness, and modifications to wire a 2-speed switch, and wiring the turn signal relay and flash to pass relay. I know this is not nearly as exciting as a cat rescue video or a fart prank video, but this is important stuff you're going to need to know in order to rewire your Ghia. So stick around and check it out. Please make sure you're caught up on parts 1 through 3 before watching. And look in the links below for all the various wiring diagrams referenced throughout the video. This is the wiring harness for the wiper switch and wiper motor. And you'll notice right away that it's connected to the turn signal relay because these two wires share a common quick disconnect spade. This connects to the power on the fuse box, so this provides power to the wiper motor and the wiper switch, and also to the turn signal lights. So the thing about this harness is that it's designed for a 6-volt system with a 1-speed motor and a 1-speed wiper switch. But I'm upgrading to a 2-speed wiper motor, 2-speed switch, so I have to make some modifications to this harness to make it work. So right here is something I downloaded off the Samba website, and it shows on the left wiring for a 66 and earlier wiper motor, which is 1-speed, and on the right, the wiring for a 2-speed motor. So the key difference is pretty simple. This has 3 wires, this has 4 wires going to the wiper motor, and there's a yellow and black wire here. And then it divides up the main power, which used to be 54, is now numbered 53, and it's split. So power coming into the wiper switch goes to number 30, and power from the wiper switch to the motor is a separate wire. So what I have to do is I have to cut this right here and put 2 plugs on here instead of just this one. And I need to add a wire. So what I did was I found some yellow wire and I just took a Sharpie and I colored it in black because I thought that would be fun to do and it would make it less confusing to the next person who might come along and need to work on the car. They might be wondering what's this weird wire doing here, and it'll be pretty clear if they look at a wiring harness diagram that this is the wire that goes to 53B. All right, so here's the wire I have to cut. I'm actually going to see if I can get away with just cutting this off and leaving this alone so that I don't have to waste another spade on that one because they're kind of hard to find. So there we go, I just cut that. So that looks, I don't know, it doesn't look great, but it looks acceptable. I don't think I'm gonna lose any points at the car show. The next thing I'm gonna do is take my homemade wire and slide it into this conduit. So just adding a 4th wire, trying to make it come through. Okay, just keep on working at it and eventually it pops out. I bought these terminals from someone on the Samba website. Got to get a feel for the tool and crimping it down. So it's just going to kind of fold over itself a little bit right there. Put the wire in, comes out the other end, and just give it a nice squeeze. Okay, that came out pretty nice. So this part of the harness is ready to go. So now I just need to add a terminal to this black line, which is number 30 from the wiper switch to the fuse box. Okay, there we go. We got power. So right here, black wire to 53, black and purple goes to 53A. My homemade black and yellow wire goes to 53B. This brown wire goes to 31B, which is right here. And they are touching each other, so that's bad. Let me turn that around. All right, no longer touching. That's important to note. And with that, all 4 wires are hooked up. And number 31 is open, and I'm going to attach my flash to pass relay ground to that. And the switch itself will ground to the dash. So right here, there's some little nubs right there that'll just cut into the paint on the back of the dash, and that'll ground the switch to the car body. And then on the opposite side, this holds it to the front of the dash. Okay, and lest we forget the other piece of the harness. So power from the fuse box to the wiper motor and the wiper switch goes to number 30, which is over here on the right. And then this will attach the fuse box, and then I can start working on finishing up the circuit for the turn signal. Okay, now because the car isn't fully painted, I can't install the wiper motor yet. So what I'm gonna do is cover up these guys with some electric tape so that I don't short anything out. But I will be able to install the switch and the rest of the wires, and I'll just leave these dangling until the car is painted and ready to install the wiper motor. All right, lucky for me, there's no windshield. I install my wiper switch in the top opening with a dash escutcheon and tool. It's always kind of nerve-wracking because it's painted and I don't want to slip and scratch anything. The escutcheon is like a decorative screw and a washer in one piece. And I screw in the two knobs for both the wiper switch and the light switch. Well, isn't that looking nice? This end of the wiring harness will connect to the wiper motor. Eventually, I'm just going to tuck that to the side for now. So what I have left to deal with here is the relay for the turn signal and the power to the wiper and to the turn signal. And this wire plugs onto the far right side of the fuse box onto the fused side. Next up are the wires to the turn signal relay. I begin with a brown ground wire that I had to make. It does not come with the Wiring Works kit because this is a 12-volt conversion. My brown wire goes to number 31, and the black, white, and green wire from the turn signal switch goes to 49A, or 54 if you're still 6 volt and you're using an original relay. There's a bluish green wire attached to the same female spade as the black, white, and green wire, and that connects to the turn signal indicator bulb on the back of your speedometer. But if your car is still 6 volt, it's a separate wire from the terminal marked K on the 6 volt relay to the speedometer. So another thing to note is that originally on a 6 volt car, these look like a little can, a little tin can, and they just sort of hooked into the bottom of the trunk through either here or here into one of these holes, and that's how it's grounded. But this one is grounded through this brown wire to the terminal that I added to the back of the mounting screw for the tachometer. So because this is flopping around, that's bad. I have to figure out a way to mount this. Because this is a nut and bolt restoration and I really want to preserve the car's originality, I've decided not to drill or screw anything into the cowl supports or to the bottom of the trunk. So for now, I'm going to use zip ties to attach the relay. Okay, next up is the flash to pass relay. So the basic idea behind this is that if, let's say, you're driving around during the day and your lights are off and you want to just flash your lights at somebody, you press this button and it flashes your high beams. Or if you're driving at night and your low beams are on and you just want to flash another driver for a second without hitting the switch on the floor, you can do that by toggling this little switch right here. It attaches to the turn signal switch. In the back there's a little button. There's 2 ground wires. The first ground wire I've already attached to the back of the wiper motor switch to 31, which is a ground. You can attach a ground from something else. The other ground wire attaches to this canister relay, which I'm not using. I have a modern upgrade for that. And there's 2 wires attached to this relay. There's one for power and 1 wire goes to the high beams. So this relay is a 6 volt relay and I don't have one. It's no longer available. So I'm replacing it with this relay right here. So you can see that there's a relay diagram here. So 30 is battery power, plugs in here on the fuse box on the far left. 87 sends power to the high beams, which plugs in second from the right on the unfused side of the fuse box. And then 86 is switched power on the fuse box, which plugs into the far right unfused side of the fuse box. And 85 is the other ground wire that comes off the back of the turn signal switch. I zip tie the relay to the cowl support. I may find a more permanent solution in the future, rig up something I can clamp between the cowl posts, but for now, this will have to do until the car is fully painted and assembled. And here's a quick test to show you that it works. As usual, this video is getting too long, so we'll pick up in part 5 by completing the wiring for the turn signals and headlights, and installing the wiper motor. Become a subscriber so you don't miss out on a single video from Pete's Ghias, your #1 source for Karmann Ghia DIY and restoration on YouTube, according to me.
It's a waste of money and a waste of time. An Italian bastard child.